Well, Mitch Stott, it's awful great to be back here at Darlington Raceway with the 8th stop on the Southeast Gasser Tour of 2017.
David, it is, as you just said, it's the 8th stop. That means we got this one and 2 more. But more so, I guess, right at the minute, David, is, this is your 1-year anniversary. This is where your circle of life with the Southeast Gasser started, and we're right back making it a full circle.
Well, I have you and Donovan and Quayne Dahl to thank for that, and it has been an incredible ride, and thank you so very much for that. It adds a little bit of history for me, but what a legendary track here at Darlington Dragway.
Well, David, this track has got a history. I don't always mix NASCAR and drag racing together, but as the old round track, as they say, too tough to tame, I think that followed right on out here because Darlington has always been one to throw you a curve, and Lord knows I should know as well as anybody. I think I've got in excess of 1,000 passes down this racetrack, but Darlington served me well, but it has got an immense history, no doubt.
This week in getting ready for this, I watched a ton of YouTube, just Darlington Dragway, and saw some of my favorites, some of my legends, Richard Tharp, these guys that run nitro cars, as well as what got me started in the Southeast and the love of these cars is Pro Modified. And I did check you out on there in that Radiac car, and I know this is where you set your legendary run of first in the fives.
It is, David. That's what I say. This racetrack has been really good to me in a whole lot of ways. And I've had a lot of good friends that I've met and remain friends that operated this racetrack. And with that, I've just can't say any more other than I've just been blessed here, and I've always loved coming to Darlington. It is basically my home track just because of the history and experience that I've got on it. But, for the 5-second pass, it's just one of them things that I had to have.
Well, and you talked about the legendary owners and the people who made this thing work. Russell Miller and his wife Dee, purchasing this racetrack, I think 3 years ago now. The improvements that they've made with the new walls down through the track and everything, they continue to impress every time I come to this racetrack.
Well, I was speaking with Jimmy Bradshaw. He's a general manager here, Jimmy Bradshaw Jr. Him and his dad worked together on Capital City Raceway up in Maryland. So there's obviously a lot of experience there. But I was talking with Jimmy earlier, and one of the things he told me is, they have reground this racetrack as well. They've went in, they've spent some money on this thing that to bring it back to its original glory. And Russell Miller, I think he owns a company, PD Trucking, I think.
PD Fleet.
PD Fleet. So we'll certainly make mention of that. But, it's, as Jimmy was telling me, he said, Russell and I are here because literally the people of this area said, went to Russell initially and said, can you help us? Can you save this old racetrack? And all I can say is thank God that they did, because it is my racetrack.
It is. And Mitch, I got to think as we see cars starting to make their way to the lanes, there's going to be some legendary runs here today, hopefully, especially with this C-Gas and the points getting tighter and tighter in our C-Gas competition.
Well, we're talking about the legends, and the things that's happened here, the history. I think history is going to be made in C-Gas here today, because right now we've got an extremely tight battle for not just 1 and 2, but like 3 and 4 and 5. So that C-Gas will be the category that I focus on the most today, because I just can't wait to see how this points gets shuffled around, because I know it's going to.
Yeah, the leader right now, Doug Dobbins, followed by Rusty Samsel, then Jerry Birch. That top 3 is only separated by about 3 rounds of racing competition.
Well, actually, I think Jerry Birch, technically, I was talking with Quayne, if we go by the points as we described at Ringgold, Jerry Birch is technically the leader in C-Gas right now. Is that a surprise? No. You expect the Birch brothers to be at the top. But it is, boy, they better be tuned up.
Over 47 cars here on the property. Fans continuing to roll in for this start. A midday start for us, a little bit different than what we normally used to. What can we see out of the track today, Mitch, with these temperatures?
I can tell you Darlington is famous for hydraulic situations, and that hydraulic being water. If you have a wet season in this area and you get a lot of heat, now I don't think today's temperature is going to create the heat that, say, August would. But Darlington has historically, if you get a lot of sunshine, you will get water percolating from under the racetrack. That has caused a lot of havoc. Lord knows back in the late 90s, it put me on 2 wheels and into a guardrail for the very reason in Pro Modified. But I do think that's another thing I was talking with Jimmy about. They have a great handle on it. So I really don't expect to see that as a problem today. The other thing that I think we can expect to see is the fact that Jimmy has a great history in prepping these racetracks. I think it will be killer. And I do feel that because of the low altitude here, as we get into the later runs this evening, I think the low altitude will create probably some performance numbers that none of these guys have run in the past.
Well, as you said, Jimmy Bradshaw knows his racetrack. He's learned from the best in his father at Capitol Dragway up in Maryland. I'm excited, Mitch. Cars are getting in the lanes. I'm ready to go racing.
I have no reason to stop it. Let's go, brother. Let's do it.
Here comes the battle of the TOs. Todd Oden in the Double X going to take on Travis Owen in the Born to Boogie.
That's kind of a tongue twister there, isn't it, David? But here comes the champ himself, old Double X Todd Oden. Boy, is he put a job for Travis Owen to do over here. That Born to Boogie, he better be ready to boogie is all I can tell you, because Todd Oden, that's a bad hot rod.
That Del Rey is a bad hombre. And let's just hope that the Born to Boogie can put up a fight right here as he tries to boogie that race car down the track.
Good clean start on both cars. I do believe Travis may have had a starting line advantage. A little bit unusual for Todd. He's normally pretty quick on the tree, but the point is he just drove right on back around that 55 Chevrolet and on to the victory for round one, which is pretty much standard for old Todd Oden.
Josh Pruitt was taking on Steve Helms. Steve Helms back with us in the Pucker Time car.
Well, Josh Pruitt, young blood, you know, David, he has won one race this year. He's been to the finals again at the last race we was at in
Ringo,
Georgia. Thank you. Always need help. The brain don't work no more. But anyway, Josh, he is in good fashion here. I was talking with him previous to this race started, and he's really got his head on straight. I think he's going to make rounds today, and round number one is no exception.
Yeah, that young blood car getting down the track very straight. He just streaks away to the victory. Rick Davis coming up against the First Lady of the Southeast Gasser, Cynthia Phillips.
You know, Cynthia has got, I think this is her third or fourth event. She has won one round of competition. Rick Davis, he built this car last year, a home effort. Him, his son, son-in-law, grandson. Rick is a wonderful guy. I really enjoy him. Electrician by trade. He just kind of spanked Miss Phillips there a little bit on the starting line, I believe.
Yes, he did. He cut the tree down on Cynthia. He knew he had to be on it. And that looks like that's going to carry him to victory in that nice 61.
That it is. And, you know, that car is so clean. But I knew when Rick was building it, it was going to turn out this way. But so that is Rick's first win and Cynthia's first loss of the day. And look at that finish.
Great job right there by Drone South at the top end. Kelvin Cannon in that Thames panel van going to take on Rick Cathcart in the Troublemaker.
Rick Cathcart in the past, you know, he has kind of been the kryptonite to Cynthia over there we were talking about earlier, because they had matched up with each other in races previous, and he just kept on beating on Cynthia until finally at the race past, she had a different pairing first round, but she won that round right here. Rick taking on the past race at Ringo, Georgia, Kelvin Cannon's runner-up. And boy, he has put him on the trailer for an early day.
Yeah, Rick's made some great improvements to that Troublemaker Studebaker truck. He just told me a few races back he dropped a Ford motor in there, and man, it's made a big difference.
Well, if he's got a Ford, then, buddy, she's a trucking, that's for sure.
Good-looking car right there. Doug Dobbins taking on Larry Noel out of Aiken, South Carolina.
Larry Noel in that 56 Chevrolet, you know, that's a job that Larry painted himself. I don't think he's finished. I think he's still got a little bit of polish and maybe a clear to go on it, but all of the art, detail, those kind of things, the lace print, that's all done by Larry and his wonderful wife as they travel together and work together. Now, here with good drag race, a good start, and Doug Dobbins, I do believe, is taking the win on this one, and he does, David.
Yeah, Larry, you saw him go left just a little bit. By the time he gathered that car up, Dobbins had streaked away.
I'm going to tell you, but as it really was, not to take anything away from Larry, that was a good run from Larry. Larry is getting better. That he
sure is. Rusty Sampson versus Jimmy Huff in the hoopty wagon.
Well, you know, here's the old nuclear banana I like to refer to it as. Rusty Sampson and Jimmy Huff, Mr. Howard, himself. Of Ford fan favorite. Just learned this weekend that Jimmy is got people that's starting to follow him through the Southeast Gassers Association, and because of his Ford knowledge and the power that he's making. But right here, he's got a job to do because our past race winner, Rusty Sampsell, just strapped a hole shot on him like none other.
He's going to have a lot of horsepower to catch up with that hole shot that Sampsell just put on him. And you can see, folks, he's out 2 or 3 car lengths right there by the time he gets to the 330 mark.
Absolutely. By the time Jimmy dropped the clutch, the race was over. Rusty Sampsell, I tell you what, buddy, the old Bad Banana 55 just keeps surprising no matter what, even through the hardship you had in the second round of qualifying with all everywhere. The old gal just pulls you out another round win.
Yeah, we got hopefully everybody's praying, and we're gonna survive it. Don't appear that it was leaking. I didn't see any smoke. I watched the oil pressure the whole way down the track. I never even saw Jimmy because I wasn't even looking, and I kind of looked up and looked like I got there first, and I think I did.
Hard to believe this is a first-round matchup with Dean Harrison, the Gray Ghost, taking on Jerry Birch in the Freebird.
That it is, David. As you and I was discussing in the introduction there, it is understood, I think, if my math is right, which could be wrong, that Jerry Birch is actually the points leader. Now, here's the thing. Him and Dean, they were such challenges 1 and 2 back and forth last year. Dean not having the stellar year he's had in the past, but Jerry just continuing his winning ways, and that Birch name so synonymous with final rounds and wins. Now, Dean out early, no doubt. Dean left on him right here, but let's see, does Joey make it up?
Yeah, that Joey Birch horsepower underneath the hood right there. His brother Jerry taking him down to the, man, what a lead. Those cars look beautiful leaving the line.
I am amazed that Jerry was that late on the tree, but look at this finish. Apparently, you just took out old Dean there because he didn't look too happy when he went by, and I understand. You know, Dean, he is trying so hard to climb up the ladder, but, hey, the Birch brothers are just, they're at the top of the ladder.
Yep, we got her going straight again. We found what was going on with that. I told Dean that Joey was going to have to reach over there and tap on the thing. No more freebies from the Freebird, so.
There you see the bow tie buzzer to Ronnie Lineberger taking on Sykeston, Missouri's own Junkyard Dog and Danny Bird.
David, you know, they ain't neither one of these guys short in years. Both of these gentlemen are, you know, on up into their later, I'm going to say 60s, somewhere in that range. Both of them good competitors, both of them a lot of history. But I'm going to have to go with Danny on this one. That Chevy 2 is lethal. Number 2 qualifier today. That car is fast everywhere we've been to, and in either class he has ran it in this year, running in obviously C and D categories a couple of different times because of engine choices. But right here, look at the wheel stand. Danny Bird got it stood straight up. They leaving together, but just pulling away from Ronnie.
Yeah, watch this again, folks, right here. Oh, big wheel stands. Bird gets up a little bit more than Lineberger. Lineberger, you see there having a short shift to recover.
He did look like he had maybe some fuel flooding. If you notice there, some black smoke coming out of them pipes as that car come back down. The car may have flooded the carburetors from the launch. You've seen it in that strut right there. But there again, Danny Bird, he is tough, tough, tough.
Robert Frazier in the black and blue versus Josh Owens in the white lightning.
Josh Owens, White Lightning, Robert Frazier. This is a good matchup. Neither of these guys have been to the later rounds of any of the categories thus far this year. So this is going to be an advancement, you know, obviously a good advancement for either one. But the story is, last race at Ringo, Robert disintegrated one of those Dodge engines, and I mean disintegrated in a way that I'm talking even shattered the heads on this thing, something I've never seen in all my years. Does he have the power to take Josh out right now? Don't know. Here we go down the racetrack. Looks like a good one, but they believe Josh took that win.
Yeah, Robert Frazier came in here as a number 6 qualifier, taking on the number 9 qualifier in Owens, and Owens just thins the tree and gets him on the big end. There you see him streaking away.
Josh Owens, hey, Moonshiner round 1 is in the books. That ain't no small chore.
I'll tell you what, it's the first time I ever run him. We've really been looking forward to running each other. I just busted him on the tree, and he still about got me at the end of the track. I mean, I had him by 2 or 3 car lengths, and he still ran me down, so he's got quite a car.
Well, you know, he had an engine issue at Ringo, Georgia at the last race. Sounds like he's got it patched up pretty good if he was making power on you.
He's making horsepower, I promise you.
We'll be looking for you in round 2, brother.
Mitch Stott, there's that beautiful 41 Studebaker of Jared Bailey taking on Todd Blackwell, our #1 qualifier in the slingshot.
Todd Blackwell's slingshot, nothing much to say about this car other than it's just bad. It's awesome, fast, #1 qualifier, as you said. Now, here's the thing. Hitman, Jared Bailey, family knowledge here, history. Both these guys, him and his dad, Tim, wonderful drag racers, good race cars, great competitors. Jared won a race previous this year in Knoxville, I think it was. And, of course, Todd, he has won a drag race already as well. Now, this is going to be a good one. This is a good first-round matchup for these two guys. Should be pretty close pairings. David, let's just sit back and listen and see how it goes.
Unfortunately, right there, the big red light gets Jared Bailey, as he knew he had a monumental task on his hands. Went in a little too thin, and it got him. So, tough break right there for Jared Bailey, but, you know, that's how competitive C-Gas is right now. The big boys, the king of the sport here in the Southeast Gassers, the A-Gassers coming around the corner. There's the Southern Flyer of Gabriel Burrell taking on Steve Davis in the Pawpaw Spin.
You know, this right here is high RPMs and horsepower on tap when you're talking about A-Gas. I know a gentleman that Quayne had basically hired or chosen to drive his car back in Ringgold, Georgia, made some test runs in it. He had moved up from, I believe, the C-Gas category, and he said, you know, that A on the window means something. He said, those are some bad hot rods. Now, here's the thing. Gabriel Burrell, that Southern Flyer Falcon, he has been working, trying to get horsepower out of this thing, him and Jimmy Hubb. I believe they got it because, man, did he streak away with Spiny there having just a little launch problem coming out of the gate.
Yeah, Spinny looked like he was a little spinny down low right there, and Gabriel Burrell just streaking it.
After the test session you've had and the challenges you've had for the last week or so, this is sweet revenge.
Absolutely. It's about killed me the last couple of days. Well, the last 2 weeks really. Worked ourselves to death. Fought it all weekend. Didn't run real good in qualifying, and it ran second best pass it's ran all year now. So,
well, sounds like you've got the problem resolved. Congratulations. We'll be looking for you in round 2, brother.
Thank you. Hey, guys, there you see my favorite man, Jimmy Finley, in that 66 Snakebite Mustang.
David, that and Sonny Hall pulling up beside him. As I've said so many times, Sonny and that Sunshine Express, our most prolific car owner on the tour with us. He owns this car. He owns the car that Kelvin Cannon drives. He also has major stake, if not full stake, I think, in the AFX cars that travel around with us. Sonny, a very intelligent gentleman, engineer by trade, and just been in drag racing since the 60s, if not before. You should hear some of the stories he tells about the people he raced with and against. It's absolutely amazing. However, on this day, I don't know if he's going to make round 2 or not.
Now, it looks like Jimmy Finley's going to get him right there, and you see him go a little bit left right there to Sonny Hall. That might have been the telltale sign right there, and that snake bite with those lethal veins has gone on to the next round.
We made it through that one. Had a pretty good run with Mr. Sonny Hall, and it got by one. I guess that was probably the easiest one I have today. The best is yet to come.
You know, all the ones you win are the easiest ones because the one to come after is usually tougher. So I would say go brush up, sharpen up, and be ready for round 2 there, Mr. Finley.
Okay, we're playing on it. We're still trying to sharpen old Jimmy's mind up. That's where it's all at right now, buddy.
We'll be looking for you in round 2.
Moving on in round 1 there, you see that beautiful race car of Justin Moses taking on Alan Galden out of Land O'Lakes, Florida.
David, Justin, you know, he's not had the most successful drag racing career this year, but he sure made a major change in the look, the appearance of that 56 Chevrolet, and he's had pretty good success, him and the wife and the new member of their family this year, so he's having a good year regardless. Now, Alan Galden, frequent flyer, Corvette owned by the gentleman we call Mr. X, because he don't like to make name mention of that for whatever reasons. I'll leave him what they are, but that's the car that I got to drive a little bit last year. Good race car, and Alan doing a wonderful job in it.
That car going very straight, too, and plenty of horsepower right there. As you see, second gear, they pull the wheels up on that one. He streaks away to victory over Justin Moses. There's Kenneth Phillips right there in the Silver Streak, too, taking on Tony Turner in the Quick and Dirty out of Cumming, Georgia.
Tony Turner is really one of the fan favorites of the Southeast Gassers. David, I really believe that. He's got one of the most unique cars, cool-looking paint job, all of the above. That big old Hemi threw it up in the frame rails. I mean, it's just Dodge through and through. Now, Kenneth Phillips over here, the Silver Streak Corvette, my Lord, just the fastest car on the planet, I reckon, today. That thing is just an absolute screamer.
It really is. Looks like Tony Turner had some problems getting off the line. No problems for Phillips as he goes away to the wind. Tony pulling it over to the side. Hate to see that after all the work he's been putting in on that quick and dirty job.
That it is. You know, that thing has just fought him all year long, David, but he's doing what Tony done. Kind of a deal that we have. If you think there could be a problem with your car liquid-wise, get over to the side as quick as possible.
Barry Lynn in that little red wagon taking on Mark Newton out of Williamston, South Carolina in that Barracuda.
Mark Newton, he missed a few races with us, had some issues there. They set out a few races. Back in shape with this Barracuda. This is a fast race car. This car is capable of winning races. Now, Barry Lynn, you talk about a guy that has been with us since the start of the Southeast Gassers Association. You do not get more dedication than what you have from Barry. Even when he was having this car built to new standards this past year and it wasn't ready, Barry come to the races and worked as an official to keep the Southeast Gassers going. Him and his wife, she's all time taking pictures, photography. We couldn't do it without him, not to mention the wonderful ice cream they had back in Ringo, Georgia.
Mark Newton's going to take it over Barry Lynn this time, but I tell you what, Barry Lynn in that little red wagon, he's making plenty of horsepower to push that big wagon down the track.
Yeah, I always joke about the little red wagon. I don't know how he came up with that name, but I do know it's got a 427 in it, and that's not too bad, that old big old hot rod.
There's a study in age right here. We got the young gun Donovan Stott versus the Godfather and Gene Cromer.
We have the oldest A-Gas competitor taking on the youngest A-Gas competitor right here, David. Donovan, obviously, you know, making wins this year, doing a fine job behind the steering wheel. And lovely lady there, Megan Phillips, Kenneth's daughter. She's just surrounded by drag cars these days, Megan is. Now, Gene Cromer. Gene Cromer, David, this guy demands respect regardless of his qualified position or not. If he walks onto the racetrack property, that gentleman right there is very crucial. He is so much a history of our sport to where, as I told Donovan after this run, win, lose, or draw, it's an honor to race against Gene Cromer.
Very, very much so. Gene is just a man among all of us boys in knowledge of gasser racing, and we're awful proud to have him out here. This time it didn't go too good for him as he went toward the wall.
The Moonlighter Gene Cromer. Gene, I was just talking to my son Donovan there, and as I told him, I said, win, lose, or draw, it's always an honor to race a legend like Gene Cromer. And as he said, you know, Gene may be a little older, but that car is running fast. He said, I was genuinely concerned.
Well, it was skipping and banging. I don't know what's happened to it. It cut off back there. I don't understand it. It's been running good.
Well, you know what a guy like me would say, it's a Ford.
Yeah, I know.
Glad to have you back with us, Gene. We'll be looking for you in Myrtle Beach, brother. Thank you.
There he is, Quayne Stott in the Grand Illusion. He's going to go alongside of Gary Klein here in round number 1.
This is the battle of the 40 Willises, Tasmanian Devil, Grand Illusion. You know, the Tasmanian Devil can't be caught and the Grand Illusion can't be seen. So, David, not sure how this one's going to go. But what I do know is it's going to be a good drag race. Look at that dry hop right there. Tires are spinning, car pulling left. That's just A-Gas drag racing, David. I don't care.
It's so beautiful to see, and you know, they're actually setting their RPMs of where they want to lead the line. There is a purpose to that dry hop.
They are that. It's trying to read the racetrack. You know, this is first round for these guys. It is hot. Racetrack kind of tricky. Here they go. Good launch for both cars. Quayne's car going left yet again. And I do believe the Tasmanian Devil has pulled one off.
Gary Klein pulls it out right here out of North Tazewell, Virginia. Man, he has really knocked off a big runner right here in our boss, Quayne Stott.
And he owed him one because at the last race in Ringo, Georgia, Quayne was the victor. So look at that finish. I bet Gary is tickled now. Gary Klein, the Tasmanian Devil, I tell you, he's working up a storm out there. I do believe he just took out Quayne Stott, none other than
the boss man. Oh, I want to just give praise to God, and I'm just so tickled. We've been working really hard and I don't have the words to express how I feel right now. I mean, it's been a battle, but it's one that God seemed right to let me win one for a change. So.
Great matchup, second round. There's Danny Bird in the Junkyard Dog versus your man, Rusty Sampson in the Bad Banana.
Yeah, the old big 55 Chevrolet making rounds today, and that's great. But I tell you, not to take nothing away from Danny. Danny is a really nice guy, and I enjoy when I get to talk with him. So this is going to be a good matchup. Rusty won our last race. Danny needs to make some rounds today, but at the same time, Rusty needs to make rounds to get up there on up to the top of that ladder. Now here, Danny didn't leave. Something going on, something broke apparently.
Yeah, it looks like something broke, and he wasn't able to get down the racetrack. And always, Danny Bird, being the great racer he is, not going to push anything and cause any damage or a hazardous situation.
I think you had maybe talked with him, David, and he had said something other about he had some safety concerns about going down the racetrack and just maybe letting Rusty go read.
Looks like Danny some broke or something. I don't know what happened. I never saw him. I'm a little worried though. It's laboring. The ET's off and it might be broke. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you know, these cars was built to race, and they're kind of like a thoroughbred horse. If they ain't racing, they ain't no good. So sometimes you just have to keep pushing them and work on them a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to try to do. I got one idea on what might be wrong with it. I'm going to go back and see if we can fix it.
We'll be looking for you in round 3, Rusty.
Big points matchup right here is Doug Dobbins and the Medicine Man taking on the Freebird, Jerry Birch.
That it is, David. This right here is your two competitors for the championship this year. Jerry Birch, you know, he is at the top because he's just always there. You just can't never count him out. Doug Dobbins, he's at the top, same thing. He's got a fast race car, pretty consistent, always there, winning races. Now, this is going to be a matchup here that will probably be the deciding factor for Seagas Championship this year. This right here is your matchup. Doug Dobbins leaving way too early. The pressure, I don't know what went on there. Maybe Doug was just a little itchy, but that win right there goes to Jerry Birch, and again, that'll probably be a deciding factor.
That definitely killed him right there. The big red eye caught him, and he actually left before the tree even got started.
Well, that he did, and the reason I called it deciding factor is because you can expect these guys to be in the later rounds, and they just ain't going to give anything up. Freebird just seems to know the way down a drag strip, and you know, you've got this thing back running to the point, Jerry, to where apparently your competition's trying to take pot shots, and this time it didn't work for him.
That's right. I think he left about half tree.
Well, you know, like I said, Doug is a great drag racer, and he's at the top of the heap in Seagas, but hey, sometimes when you got something like this that's running and as lethal as a Freebird is, these guys, they just get a little nervous.
Yep, I think I'm going to have to do the same thing to Slingshot. I'm going to have to trim the tree on him this next time.
I would recommend it because that is a bad hot rod.
It is a bad one.
There's the White Lightning of Josh Owens. He's up in the lane against the Tim Bailey and the Alley Cat on the other side.
You know, David, this right here, as I've said, Josh needs to make rounds. This is a tough one for him to try to take on Tim Bailey, obviously last year's champion. Tim, not necessarily having race wins, but he's got so many round wins. Now, Tim is due a win. I don't care what you say. And this right here, Josh, has really got his work cut out for him. A good start. Both cars leaving nice and clean. This is just going to be a horsepower race right here, David.
It looks like that horsepower Tim Bailey's is going to take it. One thing I'm seeing out of the Alley Cat, that car is going straighter than it has in the past few races. You know, they took a race off to work on it, and it looks like that work has paid off.
I think it did, David, because I'm with you. You know, that is an absolute clean shot right there. Tim Bailey and the Moonshiner ain't got nothing for you. Oh, Alley Cat just making round after round, brother. She's looking good again like it used to do.
I thought it was going to slip through the lights on me up there. When I got into RPMs, that thing started creeping. I said, uh-oh, here comes Josh. He's going to get me.
There's Todd Blackwell in that Slingshot. He's going to be making a run here for lane choice.
That he is, David. No opponent due to the way the ladder works out, the number of cars. So, as we was just discussing a little bit ago, by run, competition, single, he needs to go down this racetrack as fast as he can to maintain lane choice so that he has that comfortable feeling lane for the next round of competition when he has an opponent over there. It's terrible when Slingshot can just idle down the racetrack and take wins. You know, these guys don't realize it. But giving you a bye run, that's a really risky thing to do.
I like it. Hey, I knew I was going to win that one.
Well, you know, that is some of the best ones is when you pull up there and all you got to do is just ride down the racetrack shift, go for a joyride.
That's right. Well, there's been a lot of back and talk about which lane's working best tonight. Yeah. So when that bye run, I thought I'd go in another lane and see what we could do.
And was it good?
I thought so, yeah. And to me, it's not a whole lot of difference in them. The car definitely responded different in one lane versus the other, so I got a decision to make, and I don't know where it's going to be yet.
Hey, guys, there's the Southern Flyer, Gabriel Burrow, taking on the frequent flyer of Alan Gall.
David, Gabriel needs to make rounds. Gabriel is 2 in the points. Gabriel's number 3 in the points. He's kind of not sure right now based on the math. But, you know, this old Falcon has just really thrown him curveballs kind of for the last race, last weekend. They've had ignition problems just back and forth. They've done motor changes. This car really needs to run and give Gabriel some win, just if nothing else, just for that little bone sometimes they need. But he's up against Alan Galden over here. Now, here we got a unique situation, David. You had technically what would be conceived as a double red light, but Gabriel actually left before the tree was activated, which is why his red light didn't come on. Now, in eliminations, you really can't have 2 red lights at the same time. So in the technical aspect, for that red light to have came on for Alan, Gabriel had to have left before the tree was activated.
Well, you know, some of these guys, they just come in here on occasion and they start establishing dominance just right off of the bat. Alan Gallman driving that frequent flyer, buddy. You look to be making some rounds here in the A-gas category today.
Man, we're having fun and got a lot of luck on our side, and thank the good Lord we're having fun and going rounds and looking for the next round.
Well, like I said, you know, sometimes you guys come in here and make it look kind of easy, but I know you guys have really fought this thing a bit, but you've been diligent to it, and it looks like it's paying off.
It's a bunch of work, but one thing that's been easy is the way it's run. The show is awesome. It keeps rolling, and Queen is doing a great job, and we're just trying to do our job and keep it going, too.
We'll be looking for you in the next round, brother. Good job. Thank you.
Tuning on in A-Gas, there's Jimmy Finley in the Snakebite Mustang with Gary Klein, the upset winner over Quayne Stott in round 1.
And that it is. Gary Klein in round 2, fixing to take on Jimmy Finley up here. This should be a good race. You got, 2 seasoned veterans here, I would say. They've both been with us for quite a while. Jimmy, not necessarily a drag racer of past years, but he's certainly been with the Southeast Gassers for a period. Now, Gary Klein, on the other hand, Gary was one of my, if not kind of one of my biggest childhood heroes in the old Klein and Hale days back when I was a kid running around the drag strip. So, Gary having some issues, that old car starting to jump and bounce going down the racetrack, and Finley just gone for the win.
Tell you what, Finley throws him on the line and just drives on around him on the back end. And that Snakebite Mustang moves on in competition to the semifinals. There you see Megan Phillips getting a little bit camera shy right there. And Donovan Stott will be taking on Mark Newton right here in the next pair.
Donovan doing that little rolling burnout there. You see that yellow powder on the racetrack that was having an issue with the racetrack developing some bald spots because of the heat. When you've got that rolling burnout, if you do it correctly, you've now got a much better control over where those rear tires go. So Donovan is laying down a pattern right through that yellow goo there, if you will, as traction aid. So now you'll see how that car is staged. He should have a good, clean launch and be a good race against him and Mark Newton.
Mark Newton's got his hands full here as Donovan Stott is deadly on the Christmas tree, as we talked about so many times before.
Neither car wanting to stage. Kind of a little battle here. Newton goes in first. Donovan rolling in. They're off. Donovan first as usual, but that car going to the right. He corrected, staying with it. Newton experiencing some kind of a problem.
You know, and there it is, Mitch. We've seen this car go straight all year. And where does that come from? Nobody knows. That's what Quayne Stott wanted with the straight axles, putting it back in the driver's hands, and Donovan Stott getting up on that wheel and grabbing second gear.
Donovan Stott, that had to be a pretty good matchup right there. You guys qualified together, you know, and that was a good round, but I could hear David calling out on the loudspeaker down there, a phenomenal hole shot that you put on it.
Just the freaking old drag racing game.
Kenneth Phillips, he's going to do the same thing most likely as what Todd Blackwell did by being virtue of the #1 qualifier. They have a bye run this round.
That they are, and his lovely wife, Julietta, doing the backup chores there, David. Kenneth purpose in this is this, just as you said, as fast as he can go, make sure that he gets that right lane, which is where he's been hanging out in all day long so far.
Cathcart taking on a Todd Oden, and I'm telling you what, that Ford is going to be pushed to the limit to get by this double X in this round.
That it is. I don't know if Rick's got enough Ford available to take out Todd Oden, and that's nothing against Rick. It's just that Todd has dominated D-Gas, even to the point to where there is now a bounty on his head. This was discussed at the drivers' meeting. Todd is well aware of it, and so is Rick. There is 402. Let me make sure that $2 gets in there. $402 bounty on Todd Oden for any driver that takes him out of competition between now and this race, the race in Myrtle Beach, and the race in Shadyside, the final one. The kicker is, if nobody takes Todd out, Todd gets the money himself.
Cathcart got a little bit of a hold sight on him off the starting line, but that was quickly made up by that big 58 Del race. And Todd Oden marches on into the finals here in D-Gas.
Catching up with Rick Davis, he is a newcomer as of this year to the Southeast Gassers in the D-Gas category. And Rick, hey brother, we got round one under our belt.
Yes, sir, Mitch. It's exciting, man. We put a lot of work, Andy, my son-in-law, Jake, my grandson. We put a lot of work in this thing. Steve Davis, my cousin, Bully. He's doing our tuning for us. Man, it's just a group effort, everybody coming together and enjoying it and having a good time.
Well, you know, Rick, it is just such a pleasure to see you guys and these whole family teams come together, and not only just come together and come and race and have a little fun, but be competitive. So,
yes, sir.
Hey, brother, we'll be looking for you in round two.
The competitive part is what's fun about it, Mitch. I appreciate it. Appreciate being a part of it.
There you see Rick Davis going to pull in alongside the young blood Josh Pruitt out of Inman, South Carolina for this semifinal matchup.
Another age study like we was talking earlier, David. You know, Rick, he's not a young guy by no means, and Josh, I think Josh is literally our youngest competitor in the series. I think he's a fresh 18, 17, somewhere in there, not sure. Anyway, young blood over here against older blood. This should be a good drag race. As we was talking to Rick, you know, he had this car here on display last year before it was finished, and now it's out here racing, and Rick getting a little bit excited and going red.
Yeah, the big red eye catches him right there. You see it stumble just a little bit before it starts, and Josh Pruitt going to take that young blood right on to victory in that Ford Fairlane.
I can tell you from being in that situation, I can just tell you what Rick done right there. He realized the red light, dropped the throttle, and then kind of got back in the car.
You know, it never gets old announcing Youngblood around winter. So, Josh, buddy, I tell you, looks like you got another final round matchup with one real fast Todd Oden.
Yeah, we're gonna run it again. He got me last time. I ain't red lighting this time, so it's gonna be a good race.
Well, you know what they say, Josh. You know, victory is in the plan. So go plan for victory, brother, and we'll see you in the final round.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Rick Davis, you can't win them all, but you did win a round, and hey, brother, that only sets the stage for the next drag race.
That's right, brother. I knew I was going to have to be tight on the line to get him. I was a little bit too tight. But well, he's good.
Well, you know, it's one of them deals to where if you ain't going red, you ain't trying on occasion. So, hey, rather said, Rick, we'll be looking for you in Myrtle Beach.
Sounds good, Mitch. I appreciate you guys.
Rusty Sampson taking on Tim Bailey, the Alley Cat, here in semifinal action.
David, both these guys need to make rounds. Rusty needs to make rounds for points. Tim needs to make rounds just because he's not had the best year this year. You know, but as you had said earlier, Tim and his son, they have been doing some work on this car. They actually set out a race, and I tell you, this thing is performing good. Rusty not even really launching here. Something going on with that car, probably as we had discussed in the final round earlier. I think he had some problems, and he just could not risk it.
Tim Bailey, unless my math is wrong, that just may have been a round into the finals.
About time, ain't it? Been a long time coming, bro.
Well, I tell you, it's looking good. I understand Rusty may have had some trouble, but you sure did, and the car sounded wonderful from my end of the racetrack.
The car's doing its part, and for once, I think the driver's finally trying to do his part.
So we got two parts doing their part, and that just may equal a win.
Got two parts done, and happy to be down here. We got a good group today, and I hope I can come out on top.
Be looking for you in the finals. Thank you, sir.
Here's the other round, semifinals here in C-Gas is going to have the Freebird Jerry Birch taking on the Slingshot of Todd Blackwell.
This is a good matchup, David, as all of the C-Gas categories are. C-Gas cars are all good matchups because they're all good. They're all race winners. Now, here's the thing. 2 Chevy 2s, which is not our biggest thing that we're proud of, but the fact is Chevy 2 makes an excellent race car, and these two guys are taking advantage of that platform. Now, which one of these is going to advance? Power-wise, Todd Blackwell. Experience, Jerry Birch. We'll just sit back and watch and see what happens.
Birch said before he knew he had to go in thin.
And he has got to. He is easing in, playing that trick right there. See if it works. Jerry did leave first. What's going to happen down track? Let's just see. This is a good drag race.
Looks like Todd Blackwell comes out on top right there. Look at that car picking up the wheels in second gear.
Gear changes galore. This car making power, as I said. My Lord, look at that wheel spin. Power wins this race, no doubt about it, because I do think Jerry had the launch advantage, but there we go.
Todd, I tell you what, brother, you know, when you take out Jerry and the Freebird, you have made a major accomplishment, let me tell you right now. But, you know, it just kind of comes as no surprise from a Slingshot team. You and Mike, your dad, your whole team, you've really got this car making performance.
Hats off to Freebird. He's a good guy. Not only a good guy, good personality, but he's a good race car driver too.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm not going to say that when I got up there, I thought I had it in the bag. No, not against him.
Well, that's why I was saying, when you take him out, you've performed a major accomplishment right there. So no doubt about it. Good job on that one, Todd. You got one more round, and you can put this one in the bag.
We hope so.
See you in the finals.
Semi-final time. Look at that beautiful 61 Corvette by Alan Gaulden taking on the 66 Mustang of Jimmy Finley.
David, no doubt, my friend, this right here is such a classic matchup. Corvette versus Mustang, Ford versus Chevrolet. This is all you got to do is to see this is come to a Southeast Gassers Association event, and you will see these kind of races take place. This is what people crave. Now, the details on this. These two cars are very closely matched in performance. This is going to be a reaction time drag race, and if that holds true, Alan Gaulden's going to take this win right here because he just slapped Jimmy on the tree.
Yeah, Jimmy Finley a little bit tardy on the tree right there, and Alan Gaulden just did that frequent flyer streaking on out to the win.
That it was an excellent drag race. What a finish by two excellent race cars.
Woo! We needed some man momentum for that run, and we got some. Woo! We're working our butts off, and glad we're going rounds. This is a second race, and it's been a struggle, but we're finally making some progress, heading in the right direction.
Well, I understand that was a driver win right there. You said they won. They said you won that one on a whole shot. So, like I said, congratulations. It may not be a David and Goliath story, but you sure took out a giant in that round right there. So, one more round, and this could be your first victory.
We're trying. Thank God. We're trying, brother. Appreciate it.
We'll see you in the finals.
Thank you.
Here we go, another matchup that we've seen many times before, but nonetheless an important one as Kenneth Phillips is taking on Donovan Stott.
David, as you just said, many times we've seen this pairing, and we've seen them trade places. I will go and say that I think Donovan's got the upper hand on the numbers. It's irrelevant to the point. Kenneth has beat him, and Kenneth can beat him. Kenneth definitely has the faster car. If both drivers do their job, this will be Kenneth's race. Now, obviously, both cars have got to do their job, so let's just see what happens.
Good start by both drivers. Man, look at them get down the racetrack. Who's it going to be? The light says Donovan Stott, but man, look at that race.
That is a good drag race. I mean, from the long, through the gears, all the way down, side by side. What a finish.
Mitch,
less than a car.
You know, you got Alan Gaulden in that frequent flyer Corvette next round.
I'm so tickled for Alan. And that, honest to God, that was the first time I've actually outrun Kenneth, man. And I outrun him ET-wise. I don't know what's got he's going on. But, man, hey, honest, I got to thank Barn Farm. They've been dragging around on the tailgate with me forever. BD Amsoil, they here supporting us this weekend in Darlington. Dark Cove Farm, those guys helped me out a good bit. And just everybody in between, if I'm forgetting anybody, I got to thank them. I ain't thanked them in a long time. And I'm just glad to go rounds, man. It feels good. I hate it for the guys, but like I said before, I ain't never going to give nobody nothing, because if I ever lose, it's going to be because they beat me.
Brother, you found yourself in another final round of the Southeast Gassers Association of D-Gas category, and, you know, you got those big, wide, low, double trouble back there. You've got a job in front of you. There's no doubt that this guy is a true champion. But more so than that, I understand there's a $402 bounty, and whoever takes him out gets to collect on that $402. Does that increase your desire to take him out in this final round?
It does. Money's always nice, but it ain't always about money. It's about having fun and winning races.
So in your opinion, this is just another round and he ain't no problem?
Oh, no, I didn't say all that. He's a big problem. You can't take him lightly. If you do, you in trouble.
I hear you, brother. Well, good luck to you, Josh. We'll be looking for you on top end. Todd Oden, you know, you're certainly not a stranger to the final rounds, and so much so that there's this odd-numbered $402 bounty been placed on your head. And Josh up here, he says he thinks he can collect on that today.
Well, he's been running strong, and the pressure's on. The pressure's on. All these guys are coming for it, but if we can get this car down the track and it does what it's supposed to, I'm hoping we'll be in the winner's circle again.
Well, just to be clear, there's a group of people who support the Southeast Gassers Association, and they've all come together because of Todd's dominance in the D-Gas category, and they've put in various sums of money till we've reached a sum of $402. And any competitor in D-Gas who takes him out in a round of eliminations between now and the final race at Shadyside in November will collect on that $402 bounty. Now, here's the key. If Todd wins all of the races from this point forward, then he gets to collect that $402 bounty and put it in his pocket.
402.
Well, son, congratulations again. You're no stranger to the final round, so we'll be looking for you on top end.
Glad to be here. Thank y'all.
There's the aforementioned Todd Oden. There's Josh Pruitt. It's time to get it on, boys. There's nothing left to say.
This is going to be a showdown, David. Just like I was talking to those two guys there previously. $402. I'll say it again. It's an odd number. The point is, Josh, him and his team, they could use this $402. No question about it. But as he said, it ain't about the money. The money's nice, but it's about just winning a race and having fun. Now, Todd, of course he don't want to let go of this. So it's Todd's race to lose. It really is. Todd has a performance advantage. If Josh can leave quick enough, it can be won. What's going to happen?
Looks like he did have the whole shot on him, but Todd Oden drives around him on the big end. You can see right there, Pruitt leaves the line first.
Quite a launch advantage to Josh. Josh was trying. We will certainly give that to him. Josh was trying to take it away from him, but Big Chevrolet just too bad, man.
Look at that finish right there, less than a fender.
You've put up a heck of a race today, and to not be able to collect on that bounty, there's no shame in that because you got two more opportunities.
Yeah, I do, but I thought I wanted this run, but it is what it is.
Well, you just keep working for the next one, brother. We'll see you in Myrtle Beach. Son, congratulations on that win. Let me tell you, I don't think it's nobody but you going to collect on that bounty. Todd, you've had a heck of a race today. Nothing really been given to you. Had some shifter issues, blood coming out of your hands, but you just keep winning rounds.
This is great. That bounty, it puts that pressure on you. It makes it that much more exciting. Man, my heart's just beating. But I can't say enough to all the fans that are here and how much fun this is. And I thank y'all for letting us do it.
Well, brother, we were honored to have you as a competitor because you have certainly put a steering stick into the D-Gas category.
You know this routine, Todd Oden. You done it 4 times before, brother. 4th time this year you put this thing in victory lane. Man, talk about your day today and what you had to overcome.
Today has been a challenge. We're having shifter issues. I cut my fingers all up. Like not got it in first gear on the semifinal run. I have to thank my wife. I was completely out of the groove, and this left lane was treacherous. So she got me backed up, got me back in the groove, and she's the reason I'm in victory lane right now. It's been a tough day, but it's been a fun day.
Fun day it is, and the further stranglehold on this points, without that good woman behind you, you might not even be nowhere in this point.
That's true, and like I say, it's a team effort. Jason and Robert, all the guys that come with us, my dad and Linda, it's a team effort. It takes everybody because, hey, there's no gimmies out here, just like that last run.
Well, Todd Oden, we're glad to have you in the Southeast Gassers, brother. You do a great job. Hey, here's your D-Gas winner today. Todd Oden.
You know, to catch the two final competitors in the staging lanes previous to the final round and all of the glory and the things that go along with it, we got Todd Blackwell here in what has got to be the fastest car Seagas has ever seen. And we got Tim Bailey, past world champion. I mean, Tim, you've got experience. I'm going to go ahead and say he's got power. Is experience going to be power this time?
A to B.
A to B.
A to B.
And that basically is a simple form of a drag race, A to B. So will that methodology, will that get you the win?
We're going to hope for the best. I know we've got a good competitor here, so he's proven it. So it'll take my best run.
Todd, obviously this car has the capability to win any Seagas drag race. But again, you are pitted against past Seagas world champion and in a car that has won races and is no stranger to the final round.
Well, anybody that is a stranger to this knows that anything can happen. Anything. Well, we've seen it today. We've seen it in past races. So it definitely, I mean, up against this guy, it ain't going to be easy. I'm going to have to get out there and do my job.
Here's the combatants coming in. Tim Bailey in that beautiful alley cat there alongside his son, Jared. And there's the slingshot pulling in with Todd Blackwell.
This should be a matchup, as we talked about in the introduction. This is Seagas. This is the most competitive category in the Southeast Gassers today. These guys battle hard, man, and they battle for keeps, let me tell you. Now, slingshot, as we was just talking, power, performance advantage. Tim, on the other hand, past world champion, experience advantage. This one is going to be a nail biter, let me tell you right now. It can go either way, David.
Yeah, and we don't know what's happening here. Looks like, okay, they're telling him that the slingshot is broke. So Tim Bailey is going to get a bye run. Man, what? You see, Jared, his first win ever. Tim Bailey is going to get that by virtue of a single.
By virtue of a single, the opponent broke. How about that? Tim Bailey, again, past world champion, but the first time he was a complete race winner. How about that? Congratulations to Tim and Jared Bailey.
You see all the jubilation on the line right there as everybody's high-fiving and hugging each other as everybody's happy for the Bailey.
You got to wonder, did the slingshot team know this going in? Who knows?
Tim Bailey, old alley cat, you're back to your championship ways, my friend. Congratulations on that win. I don't know what happened to Todd Blackwell, but hey, all I know is the red alley cat was first across the finish line, and here's Tim.
Brother, I ain't got no words. It's been too long coming.
And I understand
that. Race like that, but it's been too long coming. He was absolutely the quickest guy on the ground, and I knew that I was going to have to push the tree over on him and then try to somehow fight him off at the end. I hate he had bad luck if he did.
Well, you said it very plain and clear, Tim, up there on the staging lanes that it's A to B, and that's what's required to win a drag race, and that was just proven in its purest form. He may have been at A, but he didn't make it to B. You did. You're the winner.
Thank you, brother. I sure do appreciate it. We're going to celebrate tonight.
Lord have mercy, son. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, brother. It's been a long time. Been a bridesmaid a bunch of times. Even winning the points last year, it was always second. So
you pointed him to death last year, and you watched Jared, and you helped tune Jared. He's got 2 wins, and now it's your time here at the legendary Darlington Dragway. Talk about what it means to you.
Well, it's like I told Mitch down at the end of the track. I said, just no words. I mean, and I hate to win a final like that, and I hate it for Todd because I know he had the absolute fastest car on the grounds, and he was killing them all day long. But when they interviewed us in the staging lanes, Mitch said, "What you got to do to beat this guy?" I said, "We got to go A to B. We got to get to the other end, and I got to make him do his job." So,
well, and unfortunately for them, you're right. They had a very competitive car, but that's what racing's about. You know, you got to have it all, and you got to get it there 4 rounds.
Now I got to thank Tim Timmerman. We worked on it last night, late. We got it.
Well, I tell you, you got a great crew to go along with it, and we know you thrashed a lot of hours, and Tim Timmerman, the man has helped you a lot, and there's Jared right there with you, your son, and it's a real family affair for you guys, and that's what it's about here in the Southeast Gassers. We said it 1,000 times, and just to see those tears of joy come out your eyes right there, I mean, that's what all the hard work's for.
Well, we had a lot of other guys that broke today, and it's just a testament to these guys. They will jump on your car before you can get on your car to get it fixed. So we had a lot of good racing today.
Sure did. And here it is sitting in victory lane, the Alley Cat for the first time ever. World champion and now a race winner. This is your long time coming. This is your Darlington Sea Gas winner, Mr. Tim Bailey.
Alan Donovan, final round, staging lanes. This round has not happened yet, and it's the unknown for both of you guys. Alan, your first time to the final round in the Southeast Gassers Association, driving a really neat Corvette. Donovan, farthest thing from a stranger to the final round. I've got a question here. He's got a very slight performance advantage on you. Same question I asked the guys in Sea Gas a minute ago. You've got experience. You got wisdom in winning the A-Gas category. You've got power. So is wisdom, experience going to win over power?
I don't know, Dad. We was having to look at the third number on our ET slip to figure out who's got lane choice, and it actually fell in my favor for this particular round. But, so it's going to be, I mean, you're talking about wisdom and power. It's going to be a whole shot win almost indefinitely.
So you do have lane choice. Is that what you're saying?
By like 0.003 of a second. It's nothing.
Alan, does that spell trouble for you in any way? You are a seasoned drag racer. There's no question of that. You've got a long history behind you. There's nothing about this that's catching you by surprise other than one simple thing. This is A-Gas, something that you do not have a tremendous amount of experience in. So is anything that you've learned in the past going to play over to the car, to this particular car on this particular race?
Yeah, we're just going to run our own race. We're just happy to be in the final round, and Donovan's got a lot of experience from running this, and he's in it for the points in the championship, and I respect that. And so we're just going to run our race and have some fun and give it all we got.
Well, I got to ask, do you respect it enough to take him out?
Absolutely.
Good luck to both of you. We'll see you at the final.
A-Gas finals right here. Alan Gaulden in the white trash. Donovan Stott. Looks like Donovan with the lane choice is going to go over to the left lane.
That's where Donovan's been running most of the day, David, but here they are, the kings of the Southeast Gassers Association, A-Gas, your two final standing gladiators, Donovan Stott, Alan Gaulden, two fine race cars right here, no doubt, or they wouldn't be in the finals. Donovan, of course, wants to win this race because he really, truly has had the near perfect season. So, for that matter, I'd love to see Donovan carry it on. On the other side of the racetrack, Alan Gaulden, as I was saying earlier, no stranger to drag racing, but he is definitely a stranger to the A-Gas category and the way that these cars are driven. Alan has got some passes in this car. He's got a couple of races behind him where they competed at, a lot of testing. So we just got to see, David, which way is this going to go. Surprisingly to me, Donovan had performance, but only by a couple of thousandths of a second. So if these two cars run as they did the last round, I'm going to call it for Donovan because of his whole shot advantages. But hey, this is a drag race and it can go in any direction, and it is showtime.
There you see both of them going into the stage beams. Donovan Stott away first.
Donovan did leave first. A good drag race. This is taking it to the wire, believe you me, with Alan taking the victory. I cannot wait to see this finish line shot, David.
Me either, because that, I tell you couldn't see it from the upper end. Let's see this drone south shot at the finish line.
Here they come, and my Lord, literal inches. That is amazing right there, absolutely. Now, one thing to be said, Alan Gaulden did take a $100 additional bounty.
You have just taken out a major competitor in Donovan Stott in the white trash Anglia. Not sure how you done it, but congratulations, brother.
Thank you. Thank God. And I'm just glad to be in the final round. That's got to be one of the toughest races of my career in this particular sport right here at this Gassers. And he was right there. I actually thought he was ahead of me this run, and I was just giving it all I could get and hoping that we would come out on top. And it was a lucky win. He's a seasoned racer. He's a veteran, and I wish him all the luck in the world, but I'm glad we won this one.
Even though you probably done all you could, it had to be one of the season's greatest drag races.
Oh, it's by far the funnest pass I've had all year long. Absolutely.
We'll see you in Myrtle Beach.
Good job, Al.
Well, Alan Gaulden, we talked all day here from about the semifinals on, and you said you had to make the kid do his job and get from A to B, but, hey, you had to drive by him on the big end.
Yeah, we tried to do our best to keep him honest. He's pretty comfortable in that car, and he's been running good all year, and he's in it for the points, and we're just glad to make it to the final round, and we've been working our butts off too, and finally the car's coming around, and we're making a lot of progress and are doing good, and we're happy to be part of the Southeast Gassers Racer Association.
Well, I tell you what, brother, you've come in here and made A-Gas a lot more legitimate. This car is a bad mamma jamma right here. It is a beautiful piece, and, man, you can wheel this thing good.
Yeah, it's taking some time to get it fine-tuned, and it's ill handling, as a gasser is ill handling. We're doing our best to try to keep it going straight as we can, and sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. And I'm just glad it did against that round there against Donovan, because we sure needed that. First, I want to thank the Gassers Association, Quayne Stott. I want to thank Dave Van Alstyne, Phil Roberts, my family, my friends, and thank God above for letting us do this. And we hope to do a little more.
Well, I tell you what, we hope to see you a lot more out here, and beautiful trophies like this hopefully will bring you back. Alan Gaulden, that's going to make that trip home a lot more easy, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. We just went through a hurricane down in Florida, and this sure takes a lot of that pain away. And even though we still got some problems to deal with down there, but this just helps a little bit.
That's Land O'Lakes, Florida, A-Gas winner here at Darlington Dragway, Alan Gaulden. Well, Mitch Stott, here we are at the end of a day here at Darlington Dragway, and what a day it was. I mean, we had cars going every which way and new winners in 2 of our 3 categories.
David, you say what a day. I say a long day. My goodness, it's been hot today, and Darlington Racetrack did not fail to impress as I knew it would. It's going to bring out the best. It's going to improvise or expose problems, and we had a lot of breakage today. My heart goes out to Rusty. He drives all the way down from Michigan. He's had this constant oil problem, but he was continuing to make rounds, and then I think he had noise in the engine going into the semifinals, and he just backed out. But like you said, with the exception of Mr. D-Gas, Todd Oden, we've had first-time winners in C and A. Somebody finally takes Donovan off the perch. And, I wish I would have made mention of it before, but there was a $100 bounty put on Donovan. And I'd be dadgum if Alan Gaulden didn't just rip that right out of their hands on the first day that it was posted.
He sure did, and doing a great job on it. Donovan actually left on him, and he drove by him on the big end. Really a testament to him getting that car down the racetrack.
Well, I was doing top-end interviews, and one of the rounds that Alan won was against Jimmy Finley. And it was clearly a driver win. Alan won that race on a hole shot victory. And, yes, that has been Donovan's ace in the hole all this time, is his ability to leave first. And while Donovan did leave first on Alan, the power of that old frequent flyer Corvette just more than the English could handle.
Well, and you know all about that as you shook that car down for him last year. What brought me onto the Southeast Gassers right here at this very racetrack. Mm-hmm. So, and also coming up in C-Gas, Tim Bailey, first-time winner. Where do you have a world champion who's never won a round? And we've seen it in places before, but what a great win right here for Tim Bailey.
Well, and to correct that, Dave, he's won rounds. He just not won races.
That's right.
And yes, he was the world champion in C-Gas last year, and he done it with absolute consistency. He did not win a race, but he was like in the finals, semifinals of every race. And that's just a tabulation of points. Same thing happens every year, and he was the victor last year. But today, he finally got to capitalize on that. Not only am I a champion, but I'm a race winner. And I got to tell you, he had an emotional interview on the top end down there. He said, Mitch, I just don't know what to say. So here's a guy that's won lots of rounds, but the win, the ultimate win of a C-Gas Southeast Gassers event was truly, an emotional and overwhelming experience for him.
Yeah, and what can we say about it? You said it was hot out here today. The racing was just as hot. We had a good crowd for the event we had here today. And going forward to Myrtle Beach, I tell you, it's just going to get hotter and hotter in that C-Gas category.
Well, definitely the class is going to get hot. Hopefully the weather drops a little bit by the time we get to Myrtle Beach, because this is rough on us out here, I tell you, especially old fat men. So, but it makes for that interesting race, because Darlington, when the race started in qualifying today, we had a track with less than perfect conditions. It was very hot. It was kind of greasy and tacky, and that makes a tricky racetrack. But as we said in the introduction, Jimmy and those guys that run this racetrack, they know how to prep a racetrack, and it took them just a few passes to get that thing worked out, cleaned off, fixed up. Then we had a massive oil down from Rusty, another exploded oil filter. God, who knows what's going on there. But they've got the equipment at this facility at Darlington, and they cleaned it up, was back racing in no time, and it was better than ever. And one thing that I did want to mention in the intro, these guys that run this racetrack now, I asked them, I said, what is the main thing you're doing different? And they said, we're making other racetracks in this area step up. They're increasing purses and things like that to their weekend racers, really showing that appreciation. So if you're in the Darlington area and you're looking for a drag strip, come to Darlington. Not only are you racing in a historic place, but as I understand, they've got the maximum in payouts.
They do, and a great racetrack to boot on top of that because they know how to take care of it. Mm-hmm. Mitch, I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate you and your beautiful wife, Joyce, on becoming grandparents. And I know you got your daughter, Abby, had their little baby.
Absolutely, David, and thank you. Her name is Nora Vay. She's about 5 days old at this point. She's already the love of our life. There's no question. I've told people it's amazing just how quickly you realize that there is absolutely no distance and no trouble that you would not go to protect or save that child. Within minutes of holding her in my arms, she was something that I would honorably give my life to protect in any circumstance. And so, yes, we pray for her future and her health. But at this point, they're both doing wonderful, and she's just a smiling, bubbling baby. And, yep, Joyce and I's hearts are just completely consumed.
Well, congratulations again on that, Mitch. And if you'd like to, I'll let you take us out of here with a word of prayer.
Absolutely. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in Jesus Christ's holy name, and we pray upon you that you will put your hand on every individual here, those traveling near and far, those racing and those watching, those working and those doing all the jobs behind the scenes, Lord, that you will protect them on their way home and protect them in their lives tomorrow. We pray that everyone here finds their way to a church and can sit down and praise you and learn about your mysteries and all the wonderful things that you do and the blessings that you provide on a daily basis every day of our life. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we ask you and we praise you in everything that you do for us, and we pray that everything continues to go according to your plan and that we all get to rejoice in your heaven one day. In Jesus Christ's holy name, amen.